So if you want to have a website like this, you have a catalog page, and when you choose one product you have details page, your URL going like this, so clean. Follow this tutorial and you'll learn how. So welcome to my tutorial of how to create an web app, web shop or e-commerce in PHP using MVC standard pattern actually. So to start, you're gonna need a few things. You're gonna need an web server installed, so is it Apache or EES if you're on Windows. You have to install MySQL web server, and you have to have installed Composer. So to install Composer on any distro, if you're on Linux, you just use your package manager and install Composer. On Windows, you're gonna need to type Composer, and you have here download, and you can install Composer by just downloading it. So when you have all set up, you can start. So I'm using Atom text editor. You can use whatever you like. I'm here in my public folder, so make sure you are in your public folder. We're gonna make before that public folder, in the folder we have to make a new folder called core. In that folder we're gonna create some core functions that our app will use. So we're making MVC pattern, so the first thing we are making here is controller.php. Then we're gonna need a controller, and we're gonna need model, so model.php, and then we're gonna need view, so that's MVC pattern, controller model view. So in PHP, to navigate through the pages and generate views, we're gonna need a class called router. So router.php. And in this public folder we're gonna need just one file, and that's index.php. So in that file we're just gonna open up PHP and then or something just to test if it's everything set up and ready. So go to your browser, localhost, refresh page. Now double type DDD. So rename that, make sure it's just index. And voila, we have successfully set up our web server, and we have our PHP model installed, and we have PHP working well on this computer. So first thing we're going to implement here is controller. So start like PHP, then because it's in core folder we're going to name it namespace core for that. Then it's going to be an abstract class controller. And here, first thing we gonna need, we have to declare an array holding the root parameters. So it's going to be protected, and we're gonna call it root Then we have to make a constructor. And as a parameter, we're going to send root arms. And here we're going to just set those send parameters to our protected. Is equal to just these root arms from we just sent. So we made constructor. Then we're going to make a method call, in which we'll send name and arguments. Here in this method is called when a non-existent or inaccessible method is called on an object of this class. So used to execute before and after filler methods on action methods. Action methods needs to be named with an action. So in our app we're going to call it by just, so it has to have suffix action. So we just when we type, for example, here in URL, for example controller, for example catalog, and then products, it's going to generate our products, but it's going to be routed as it's going to call function products action. So when you type here products, it's going to call function products action. You're going to see that in the future. So we're just creating that function to handle that. So method equal to name action. So that suffix that's going to be called every time. So we're going to first check if that method exists. Sorry for that. This method, we're sending method here, and then if this, so we have to, before that we have to create and function protected function before and after. So those functions are called before an action method, and here we're going to check if before is not false, then call user function array and x. Then we're calling function after. If it's not working, we're going to just throw some message. So echo method not found. We're going to make custom class later, error custom class. So for now we're going to just call it like that. And that is our controller. Now we're going to implement the router class. So it's a little bit more complex class than its controller. So PHP, then namespace core, then class router, then we have to form array that will hold our routes. Forgot dollar here. Then we have to make an array that will hold our parameters. Then we have to create a function add, so that function will add routes from index in app. So here we are creating array. So first we have to convert the root to a regular expression. So we have to escape forward slashes. The way we're going to do that, we're going to put in root. So we're going to use a function replace that will replace slash like this. With this, and send it to route. Then we have to convert variables. So in controller, the same function we are using here. Then we have to convert variables with custom regular expressions. So ID, like when user sends ID of product, then we have to add a start and end. And we have made our function that add routes. Now, second thing, we have to make a getter for routes. So public function get roots. I have to return roots. This. And then we have to make a function that match the root to the routers in the routing table. So we have to setting the params property if a root is found. So public function function match URL, then for each roots as root params if frag match root URL matches, then you have to get name capture group values, match when we get that, if is string, if key is string, then store params key match. Then here this if not, then return false. Here. One more thing. Inside the function right here. So it's our match function, and then we have to make a getter for parameters. Return this params, so that's a getter, and we have to dispatch the root, creating the controller object and running the action method. So we're doing that with function dispatch URL. So URL is equals to this. Before that, we have to make a function to remove query string variables. So that function is protected function remove query string URL. So if URL is not empty, then parts exclude. So we're taking E from URL then if pose of parts is equal to false, then URL URL parts first, else URL is empty. Then we have to return URL. Then we're going to back to dispatch and change. So remove query string variables. We're sending this URL. Then if this match URL, then controller, we're sending to controller our parameters. Controller this. So here we have to convert to stylic caps. So we have to create another function here. So protected function convert to stylic caps the string that function have to return string replace empty with real empty. So words string replace with string then we're back up here and call that function. So convert to the caps controller and then controller this gap name space controller if class, so we have to check if class exists. If controller class exists, then controller object create a new instance of controller as argument. You remember that we have in constructor parameters. And then action this parameters action, we're taking action, and then action is equal to this convert to, so we need another function. So convert to camel case. So that converts the string with a, you will see. Function camel case string. Ethan, why are you doing that? Return else first this, and then we're calling convert to tally caps that string. We're backing up here, convert to camel case, and we're sending action. So we have to check if prime match the action. is equal to 0. Then controller object action and we have to create a getter for our namespace protected function get namespace, then this namespace is app controller so if array key exists, then namespace this arms and namespace we are adding this then return and let me just one more time check this router if we did make some mistakes, so let me check it out again. We forgot $, here, so that slash here. We forgot $, here. Here I did send s, that just root. Here I made mistake with parms. And here it exists once, and also here and also here controller object when you call action it's a method, so it need open and close brackets. And also here app slash controllers, not controller, so add an s. That's it, we fixed I guess we fixed all the all the errors here in the router. So before we implement the view class, we have to install Composer first. I said that on the beginning of this tutorial. If you're Windows, just download Composer. If you're on Linux, install Composer by using your package manager. Same on the Mac. So when you're having Composer installed, open up the terminal or command prompt on the Windows and type composer. So we have to first go to our root directory when our server is. So in my case that's http. I'm here, so I'm having my core folder. I have my public folder that we just created, and then to install we have to install framework called Twig, and that framework will handle our view. So it will generate our view for our website. So to install a framework, we are using composer require Twig. So you can find this installation command on Twig's website. In this time I'm using Twig 2.0, and that's the latest version. You can find, if you're watching this video when it's available a newer version, you can just find it on Twig's website. So install that. It's done, it's installed. So as you can see, it generated composer.json, composer.log, and vendor. When you check what's in the vendor folder, we have autoload PHP composer, Symfony, that's framework, and we have Twig. So we are done here with the terminal. Now when we have our composer Twig's framework installed and our composer installed, we have to implement the view class. So same as before, PHP namespace core, then class view. Why, Ethan, why are you doing that? I didn't want that. So view. So the method we are first creating is a render. So this class will just use Twig to render our HTML code. Render view arguments then we have to extract arguments from skip, then have to find a file from directory, which will be in our app folder, then views, then our file name view, and if it's readable, file, then require that file, else just show Yahoo file not found. And the second method in this class, we are going to have just two methods, so it's because we're using Twig. Static function render template, so template arguments, so static Twig null if Twig is not null, then we're loader creating a new instance of Twig loader file system, their name, then their so again we're going to app use and Twig Twig environment, loader, and then Yahoo Twig render template args. So we have done with a view. That's all for the view function. Now we are done with the controller, we are done with the router, we are done with the view. For the model, we are going to do a little bit later when we set up our database, because model will have to do job with the database. So back to our root folder and create a folder app, and that is going to be our website. That's our website, that our web store that will use our core functions. So thing we are doing first, we are creating a folder controller. Then we are creating a folder views. Actually, that's going to be more controllers, so I'm going to add an S here, and then new folder views and models. So here we're going to create our first controller, and that's going to be home.php. So our home page on our website, and here we are open our PHP, then namespace app controller, then use core view, then class home, have to extend core controller, and here in this class we have methods that will render our template. So public function index, because it's index action, so when the root of our websites, so view render template is going to be in home index.html, and let's create that first. In the view we are making a new folder that's home, and then we are making a new page that's index.html, and here we are going to put some Twig tags. That's a block body. This will generate a body of our template, and block. This will generate our footer. We will implement that a little bit later, and here is custom code for us. Welcome, because it's a first page and a phase 1. So, and we're going to need to add some title here, so it will put title on the page. Block title, not like that. Block title. So it's home page and block. And here in the root of the views we're going to make a base. So new file base HTML that will hold our header and footer. So here we're going to put some header and footer function. So block body and block. So before that it's going to be a header, and in the end of that it's going to be a footer that we'll add later when we have our template. So here back to home index, and here we're going to extend base, so it's when we add a header and footer here, it's automatically generate this HTML code. So here extends base.html. Save that file. And after you've done that, to make everything work, you have to go to composer.json, and here, as you can see, when we install Twig, it's automatically generated. So the next thing we have to add here is auto load our core and our app. So that's it. Now again, we have to open up our terminal or our command prompt, and then go to that terminal. I'm using terminal, and type composer update. Composer update. And it's generating all the load files, so it's sync with a composer. Now we are going to implement our index.php, so everything starts here to navigate to our app. First thing we are doing here, we are requiring a composer by require, so their name, that's our directory, and we have generated folder vendor, so slash vendor slash auto load.php. So that is that file auto load generated by composer. Then we want to guess if there is any error here, and we will type auto generator PHP error, so inset, so display errors true. Then initial set display startup errors true, and error reporting error reporting all. This is going to generate any and display errors if there are any. I hope there are no errors. But if you made some mistake in writing core functions or add functions, it will show you where is the error and you can fix it. Router. So we are creating new instance of router. New. So router is in core. Then router. So we made an instance. And then we are adding routes. So router add, we're calling function add. Then for the index, we want to show the home and index that we made here. So we want first thing that happens to render the home index file using the base HTML, which is our header and footer, which we haven't added yet, but it will search for them here and here, and will generate. We just have to get a message welcome. So if everything works fine, we will get the message welcome. So to controller, we are sending a home because it's in the home folder, and for the action, for the start action, we are calling it index because we name an index action our function in the home controller. So here in the home controller, that action is called index and then suffix action. So if you're calling that I don't know, whatever function, so for example display action or catalog action, it will we are sending here just catalog or display or whatever we want. So for now we are adding action index. Then we are making some rules here. So router add controller slash. So we are sending the name of the controller, then the name of the action in the URL. That's a rule for the URL. And then let's execute those. Router dispatch server query string. So this is our URL. So if everything works fine, just refresh your browser on a local host and you'll get the message welcome. That means we did everything fine and everything works fine in our app and our core. So I will change now in the index, I will change message hello. So we'll get the message hello if we change here, and when we refresh this, we get hello. When we want to see the source of that, it says hello. Now we are done with core totally, and everything works fine. Actually, we have to we have to connect to database. We have to create now a model that will connect to our database, and we have to display content on our database. So now we are going to check if our MySQL server works fine, and we're going to download the PHP MyAdmin to create a new table. If you have any other way, and if you're familiar with MySQL, you can use everything you want to create a table that we will use in our and create a database that we will use in our app. So here now, if you don't have Windows Workbench, or you are not familiar with databases, you just download PHP MyAdmin. So if you know how to use databases and you're familiar with Workbench and MySQL, you just can create a table normally and follow our steps for fields that we will use in our app. If you're first time using MySQL and you're not familiar with databases, just follow my steps, or you can follow my steps even if you do know, because we're doing that app. If you have fully set up MySQL server, just download PHP MyAdmin. If you don't already have one, just download. I already did it, so I won't do it again. Then go to your downloads folder, and then here extract that folder. When you're extracting that, just rename that. You have only PHP MyAdmin in that folder. Just copy that folder to your server root location, like I did, to the public folder next to the index. It's here. I have my PHP MyAdmin, and then go to your browser, type localhost /php MyAdmin with it's case sensitive, so if it's uppercase, you have to write uppercase. It's lowercase, you have to write lowercase. And then just type username and password of your MySQL database. Then just go to log in there. You have we have here 3 databases. We won't use any of these. We're creating our new database will call a store, because we are creating a web store. So for that, we are going to use UTF-8 general. So UTF-8 Unicode CI, and then create. We have our database, and we are about to create a new table here. So our table is going to call products. Now we have our table created, and here we are set up in our fields. So first we are going to be name, and for that we are going to call varchar, that's a string. Length of that can be 20 characters. Then we are going to have a price of our product, or we will set it on the end. Price, here we're going to set a picture, and we're going to that's actually all. We don't need anything else. Price name, and we need ID. Actually, first thing more important is to put ID here. So picture and price. Picture. It's integer, varchar of 20 characters. Integer don't have to have any length. Picture will have 100, for example, and price will be integer, of course. We want ID to be auto increment, so for auto increment we are checking this, because it's in auto increment, and that's all. That's a key, so default now. Okay, save and put it as a key. It has a key icon here. So now we want to insert one row. Here we're going to insert, for example, 100 for a first ID. Then for the name we're going to call it bag, for like creating a bag store. Then picture, we will find some bag on the internet, just picture.gmp, and price, for example, we're calling 100 ball. Did I just set it as integer? We have to change that. We have to change the structure of that. That's not integer, that's a varchar, because it's location. So make sure it's a varchar of 100, and then back to insert. First thing we are inserting here is 100 for that's ID of, you have already, if you have already in your story or IDs of the products, you can just type your ID, name is bag, picture is bag.jpg, price is $100, for example, and then go, and we have our first product insert in our products table. So we have fully set up our database. Now let's go to the implementing our model. So before we go to the model, let's create a configuration file for our database. Here in the apps folder, create a new file and call it config.php. And here in this file we're going to create PHP file. It's in app folder, so name space for that will be app. Now item app, then class config. So first thing here, we are setting up a host. So we are hosting this on our computer, so that DB host will be a local host. If you're hosting on anyone else location, just type that location, but if you're set up your MySQL server on your computer, that's a local host. Then DB name, we call that store, so it will be store. That's the name of database. Then we have DB user, that's, for my case it's a root, that's a username of your database. Then we have password, that is our password. I will just type your password here, so I'll type just a few things. Then show errors true. So we want it, and then that's our configuration file. Now let's jump to the model. So the model is quite simple class. So PHP here, namespace is core. So we will use PDO connection, then use app config class, and that will be abstract class model. And here we are creating protected function static. So get db to get our database, static db null. So it's null for the first. If db is null, then dsn is equal to MySQL host, and then our config db host, then our db name will be our config. So db name, then our char set will be UTF-8 because our database is UTF-8. So database, new PDO instance, DSN as the first argument, and then our username and password as they are here. Config. So that's db user and config db password, and then db set attribute PDO attr err mode PDO err mode exception. And after that, return RDB. So that's all for the model, and it connecting to our database. Now we're going to create our in-app our model user.php to test our database and to use that in our app. So here in the models folder in app, create a class user.php. So in this class we are going to put all the major functions to load our data from our database. So we have only one table, so here we're going to create a function to get all products. So namespace, that's app, that's app models, and then use PDO because we are using database here. That's class user, and that class will extend core model, and here allow it to be down here, public static function, get all, for example, get all products. Then here GB is equal to static get DB from our configuration. That statement, our query for that will be DB query. And then if we have to select all from products, and then we have to return array list of that. So it's a PDO. And that's all. That will bring our products. Now here in our controller we'll send those data, actually in the app controller home, we'll send to home our data from database. Now we want to display, to show that products in catalog page. So to do that we're going to create in controller a new controller. We're going to call a new file, so catalog.php. So that class is basically same as home, so we can copy and paste that and just change here catalog, and here instead of index action we're going to call it product action. If you have more products, like having one category, here you'll create, for example, cars, then other action, for example computers, or whatever products you have, like bags in our case. Then we can have desks, and we'll call other function to implement it. So when user types their localhost slash catalog slash bags, it will show bags or cars or whatever we like from our database. So we have only one category here in this example, and that's products. So we're going to render, we have in views, create a new folder called catalog, and inside of the catalog folder create a new folder called index.html. So it's basically same as I made a directory here, a directory, new file, index.html, and here inside of that file let's copy and paste from here, home index.html, and that's basically same, just here we're going to say catalog, that's title, it will generate base, footer, and header. Here instead of home we are not going to instead of hello, we won't say hello here, we're going to print our products. So go to catalog.php and then generate catalog index.html, and as arguments we're going to send data. So here in that brackets, add comma, and inside of that just add here so array products, and then call the function from the user our get all function. So here inside of that, then here go to index.html from the catalog, and instead of that hello we're going to create a Twig language. Twig have a beautiful syntax here, so like any other programming language, here in Twig you can type a for loop, so for p for product in products. So products, cause we send that here the name products, you can call it like category bags, cars, whatever you like, so it will be just here for whatever variable here you want in, so that array products in our case. So don't forget to put and loop here, so every time you're finishing loop here, and loop and for, and inside of that for to display content of the variable you just type p dot name. For in our case we have name, we'll have id, price, id, and picture. Now I want you to go to your public folder and create a file called new file called htaccess, and just copy and paste that from our configuration you have inside you have in comments in description of this video. Just copy and paste that. or rewrite. Now when you're done with catalog, just go to your browser and navigate to the catalog products, and we got a syntax error here in the catalog line 13. Well, I should not use that here, and I forgot to include app models user, because I'm using that here. Then refresh again. In the user online, we have, that's a method I forgot to open up here, and let's refresh again. I have problem on the line 13. I think we have problem with file not here. We have problem with a model here. I forgot here to add equals, and here I forgot to add equals. Let's refresh, and unable to find. I made an on the line here in the generator catalog /index, and voila, we have everything working. We have our bag, our price, then image, and our ID of our product here. So we can change here. We can type name, and then we can use standard HTML code for that. BR for a new line, then here BR for a new line, then here BR for a new line, then here BR for a new line, and here we can type price, we can type ID, and we can type image that will be here. And when we refresh that, we got name, price, ID, and image. Now we want to set up a template, a real template. You can build your own if you are good with HTML and CSS design. I'm not, I'm just a backend developer, and I will download a theme. So you can just apply it to here in the template, because it's easy to add a template when you use a Twig and this standard MVC. So to download our template, we're going to Google that. So, or you can just download any template if you know some better resource. So type free e-commerce HTML template, then just grab a website and find a template for your needs. So I'm going to go with this one, for example. Just click download, then save that, open up your downloads page. So now we start here, and we have everything here. So we're going to go just copy that server root location and to public folder and paste all of that. Now just open up the index and open up that in your text editor, and you'll see there is a header. So header area starts here, so copy all of that it's all header and header area end. So copy that and open up your home index.html here. Actually open up your base HTML, and inside of here, before block body, put your header. So here is a header, and in the end block, after end block, copy your footer. So every or almost every template has these comments that helps you find that, but also without that. So and start here, footer area start here. So copy that, go to base. So that means every our file will generate this header and footer. So save that. Now go to your browser and navigate to localhost, and as you can see, we have our header and we have our footer, and we have our custom HTML code which is for home here. So we will put welcome or content from that index file here we have. So in the middle, everything in the middle will be home for this. So still it header starts here. No that no. So this one, just copy that to here and go to your home index. Instead of this welcome, we'll put our custom code and open up this. As you can see, we have our template installed. You can also change all of that, so for your needs. So every template is editable here. We can say hello YouTube, and refresh that, and you will see here. So here, for example, say e-commerce website, and we can change also that image in that folder. So now we want to navigate when we click a shop, or when we choose some, for example, dresses, we want to go to catalog products. So go to base and add it here. We don't need all of that in our menu, so remove that and remove that, and now we will have, for example, not dresses but bags. And here, instead of shop HTML, navigate to catalog and then products, and save that. Refresh, show shop, women's collection. We will say not a women's collection, we will say like stuffs. Refresh that, click bags, and we are here. So to not facing that problem, you have to go back to base, and change all the links to absolute. So add slash here, so it's going to change, it's going to look that for a root location. So every link has to have slash before start. So let's check if it's working. Yeah. Just this, I haven't changed everything yet. So every image, but that will be generated, it's not important now. You just understood what I'm trying to say here. So logo here, and refresh that, change that to just empty, refresh, and we have everything here. Now instead of just text here, we want to add a real products looking page. So in this template we will have a shop HTML. So open up that page and search for area with the products. So here, it's not here. So it starts from here. And we want that, no, it's not starting from here, it's branch area, single product. Here we are. So what we're going to need from here, we're going to copy and paste or from selection for now. That's it. Just copy that and go to catalog, index.html, and inside, instead of these things, we want to have all the products. Let's refresh that page, and here we are. Instead of those products, we want our products to have. So here we want only one product to be here, but automatically generated automatically. So find a single product and left just one. Single product here, sorting, single product, that's one product, and that's all. And then we're going to take our loop here and go back up there. And here we want to refresh that. We're going to add a loop that will generate, and then take this single product stuff that's from here to here, put it inside a loop to generate every product from our database, and then for the name of the product we are going to put here that's a name. For the price of the product, we're going to put here. For the ID, it's not matter, this thing doesn't have ID showed, but we're going to set somewhere. And a picture is, I guess, shown here. Instead of this, we will set R, but we don't have yet picture, so we will add that later. Save that infos and refresh. Now, as you can see, we have our bag. For the price, we have our so to put that here, dollar. We don't need all price for that product, but we can add also that. So in the field, so refresh. I'm going to download a bag, so it's not matter, just save image in our location, public, so product image. I'm going to delete all of those. No, I'm going to put bag, so I'm going to call it bag because we're calling bag in our database, bag. And let's go back here and refresh that. So let me see our source code here. Why it's not showing up? Bag.g. So not core product image. We should save that in a product image. So also here, change that, save that, also add a slash here for the location. Let's back up here and refresh, and voila, we have our product insert here. So to add a new product, we are just going to localhost php myadmin, and or to change a price here, go to your store, and here you can just open up that and change price. For example, we will put 150. Let's refresh that, and as you can see, we have our price updated here. To add a new stuff, just go to add some other ID. Name will be, for example, book, then picture book dot, and price for that will be 20, for example. Save that, and let's refresh. We don't have a picture for that. We can download a book, and the same process as it was. We don't have to, just the same process, you know that we can change. I don't need to add a new here, just put the same bag dot, so just to show you how it works. And here we have our two products, we have our prices. That's all. You can add new pages by adding a new view and adding new controller for that page. We have catalog, we can add a new categories here. So open up catalog, and if you want a new category here, just create a new function and add, for example, books here. and we want only books to show up here. So in the books, when you type here, for example, books, it will show the same thing, because we using that function. So in the user, you just change so get books, I will tell you, and for example change here where ID is equal to 20, and it will get just the books here, just back here in the catalog and get books. So let's refresh that, and we have only books here, because and when we back to the products, we have every product here. So you can modify that by your needs, change in the database, make new tables like that. When you want to see the details of the product, so when we click on the product detail, we can add for example link to ID. So to add a product details page, go to index and add a new rule here. So when we want to open details, we will go to detail controller and then type category of our product and our product ID. Here to add a product ID, we're going to put ID plus D with that align. So and we're going to add a new controller. So new file, here we're going to add a detail.php, same thing as a catalog, just change here. And we want to generate details, not catalog. We want detail. We don't need that because we have our products. And in views, add a new folder, details, and new file index.html. And here we're going to add the same thing as here, base, and that you are adding in every page. Just here modify the title, and in the end we're going to end block here, just end block on the details page. We don't have nothing here, just you will see text when we go to here and type detail product, and for example 100. So router, we haven't add, just let me see that catalog products, not detail here, and we just see if I did well with ID here. Just go to index.php here. Yeah, on the other side, so like this, ID is supposed to be like this. So add this line in the index.php, save that. Let's go back here, refresh. We have then go to details, save that. Let's refresh again, and we have our details page. So to design that page and put our template, we have here file called single product details HTML. Find everything after the header. Whoa, don't do that to me. Not here. Copy that, go to your details page. Instead of this, just put your HTML. Let's go back here and refresh, and we're supposed to see our ID here. So to modify that, go to catalog, go to user, here in app, go to user.php, then create a function get product, and here put the ID. Product, and here put the ID, and here search for that ID. So we're going to get the ID, and here in the details page just send that like get product, and here instead of this we're going to explode that. So here just type, so we have to write a function explode, not explode like I wrote, explode and slash to take to extract that from slashes, and took a second argument here, and just copy and paste that inside of here get products to get that ID of the product, and we will send 100 here. And let's go back to details here, index details, and here where is where our product starts. So so inside of here just type again a loop, because I call it products again, in products, then and for at the end, and for, and inside of that we're gonna put our tile. We're going to just change that and put here p.name. So let's refresh that, and we have bag. Here we're going to have our price, p.price, and that's it for us. For example, you can change everything here. It's 150, and when you change here ID and put 200 and refresh the page, you get a book and you get a 20. So then back to our catalog here, and we want to generate the link to details page. So when we have our loop here in the location, so when user type a name, we want a single product location, so detail, then slash products slash p.id. So go back to bags, for example, and click on the bag, and you get our bag here. back, you click on the book, you get our detail here. So in that link. That would be all, guys. Thank you all for watching. Think you enjoyed this video. Click subscribe button if you like that. Don't forget thumb up, and see you guys next time.